confusion may arise from his insistence on Wei Wu Wei, literally, doing, not doing, which has been seen as passivity. Nothing could be further from the truth. A good athlete can enter a state of body awareness in which the right stroke or the right movement happens by itself, effortlessly, without any interference of the conscious will. This is a paradigm for non-action, the purest and most effective form of action. The game plays the game. The poem writes the poem. We can't tell the dancer from the dance. Less and less do you need to force things, until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. Nothing is done because the doer has wholeheartedly vanished into the deed. The fuel has been completely transformed into flame. This nothing is in fact everything. It happens when we trust the intelligence of the universe in the same way that an athlete or a dancer trusts the superior intelligence of the body. Hence Lao Tzu's emphasis on softness. Softness means the opposite of rigidity and is synonymous with suppleness, adaptability, endurance. Anyone who has seen a Tai Chi or Aikido master doing, not doing, will know how powerful this softness is. Lao Tzu's central figure is a man or woman whose life is in perfect harmony with the way things are. This is not an idea, it is a reality. I have seen it. The master has mastered nature, not in the sense of conquering it, but of becoming it. In surrendering to the Tao, in giving up all concepts, judgments, and desires, her mind has grown naturally compassionate. She finds, deep in her own experience, the central truths of the art of living, which are paradoxical only on the surface, that the more truly solitary we are, the more compassionate we can be. The more we let go of what we love, the more present our love becomes. The clearer our insight into what is beyond good and evil, the more we can embody the good. Until finally she is able to say, in all humility, I am the Tao, the truth, the life. The teaching of the Tao Te Ching is moral in the deepest sense, unencumbered by any concept of sin. The master doesn't see evil as a force to resist, but simply as an opaqueness, a state of self-absorption, which is in disharmony with the universal process, so that, as with a dirty window, the light can't shine through. This freedom from moral categories allows him his great compassion for the wicked and the selfish. Thus, the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. The listener will notice that in the many passages where Lao Tzu describes the master, I've used the pronoun she at least as often as he. The Chinese language doesn't make this kind of distinction. In English, we have to choose. But since we are all potentially the master, since the master is, essentially, us, I felt it would be untrue to present a male archetype, as other versions have, ironically, done. Ironically, because of all the great world religions, the teaching of Lao Tzu is by far the most female. Of course, you should feel free throughout the recording to substitute he for she, or vice versa. As to method, I worked from Paul Carus's literal version, which provides English equivalents, often very quaint ones, alongside each of the Chinese ideograms. I also consulted dozens of translations into English, German, and French. But the most essential preparation for my work was a 14 years long course of Zen training, which brought me face to face with Lao Tzu and his true disciples and heirs, the early Chinese Zen masters. With great poetry, the freest translation is sometimes the most faithful. We must try its effect as an English poem, Dr. Johnson said. That is the way to judge of the merit of a translation. I have often been fairly literal, or as literal as one can be with such a subtle, kaleidoscopic book as the Tao Te Ching. But I have also paraphrased, expanded, contracted, interpreted, worked with the text, played with it, until it became embodied in a language that felt genuine to me. If I haven't always translated Lao Tzu's words, my intention has always been to translate his mind. Describing the indescribable, teaching the unteachable, pointing the way to the way. What does Lao Tzu think he is doing here? It can't be done. No way. Hence, Po Chu-yi, poet and stand-up comedian, wrote, "He who talks doesn't know, he who knows doesn't talk." That is what Lao Tzu told us in a book of 5,000 words. If he was the one who knew, how could he have been such a blabbermouth? That's the problem with spiritual teachers. They have to be blabbermouths. But their words are, in the traditional Buddhist metaphor, fingers pointing at the moon. If you watch the finger, you can't see the moon. How meticulous the great masters had to be. A monk asked Matsu, "Why do you teach mind is Buddha?" Matsu said, "To stop a baby from crying." The monk said, "When the crying has stopped, what then?" Matsu said, "Then I teach, not mind, not Buddha." The monk said, "How about someone who isn't attached to either?" Matsu said, "I would tell him, not beings." The monk said, "And what if you met a man unattached to all things? What would you tell him?" Matsu said, "I would just let him experience the great Tao." In fact, the truth is right before our eyes, right under our noses. So simple that every child understands it. And yet, as Bankei said, the farther you enter into it, the deeper it is. Where is the way to the way? What a question. Still, for complicated minds, drastic measures are needed. Lao Tzu's book was written as a response out of grandmotherly kindness. According to the oldest biography, Lao Tzu lived for a long time in the country of Chu, but seeing its decline, he departed. When he reached the frontier, the guard said, "Since you are going away, sir, could you write a book to teach me the art of living?" Thereupon, Lao Tzu wrote his book about the Tao and departed. This is legend, but it is an accurate description of the way in which true teaching happens. He who knows doesn't talk, but words are no hindrance for him. He uses them as he would use gardening tools. When someone asks, he answers. Tao Te Ching 1. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness, the gateway to all understanding. 2. When people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore, the Master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That is why it lasts forever. 3. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. The Master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. 4. The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. 5. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth to both good and evil. The Master doesn't take sides. She welcomes both saints and sinners. The Tao is like a bellows. It is empty yet infinitely capable. The more you use it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. 6. The Tao is called the Great Mother. Empty, yet inexhaustible, it gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you. You can use it any way you want. 7. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desires for itself, thus it is present for all beings. The Master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things. That is why she is one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled. 8. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It is content with the low places that people disdain. Thus, it is like the Tao. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. 9. Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Chase after money and security, and your heart will never unclench. Care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. 10. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple as a newborn child's? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectations, leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. 11. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We hammer wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. 12. Colors blind the eye. Sounds deafen the ear. Flavors numb the taste. Thoughts weaken the mind. Desires wither the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. 13. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. What does it mean that success is as dangerous as failure? Whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is shaky. When you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self. When we don't see the self as self, what do we have to fear? See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. 14. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable, it returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms. Image without an image. Subtle, beyond all conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it, at ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. 15. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced-over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood, receptive as a valley, clear as a glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment. Not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. 16. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. 17. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. Next best is a leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The master doesn't talk, he acts. When his work is done, the people say, "Amazing, we did it, all by ourselves." 18. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there is no peace in the family, filial piety begins. When the country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. 19. Throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. If these three aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course. 20. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value, avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. Other people are excited, as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about like someone without a home. I am like an idiot, my mind is so empty. Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharp. I alone am dull. Other people have a purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I am different from ordinary people. I drink from the Great Mother's breasts. 21. The Master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and see. "22. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up." The Master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient masters said, "If you want to be given everything, give everything up," they weren't using empty phrases. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. 23. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. 24. He who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job, then let go. 25. There was something formless and perfect before the universe was born. It is serene, empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, eternally present. It is the mother of the universe. For lack of a better name, I call it the Tao. It flows through all things, inside and outside, and returns to the origin of all things. The Tao is great. The universe is great. Earth is great. Man is great. These are the four great powers. Man follows the earth. Earth follows the universe. The universe follows the Tao. The Tao follows only itself. 26. The heavy is the root of the light. The unmoved is the source of all movement. Thus the master travels all day without leaving home. However splendid the views, she stays serenely in herself. Why should the lord of the country flit about like a fool? If you let yourself be blown to and fro, you lose touch with your root. If you let restlessness move you, you lose touch with who you are. "27. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent upon arriving. A good artist lets his intuition lead him wherever it wants. A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is. Thus the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. 28. Know the male, yet keep to the female. Receive the world in your arms. If you receive the world, the Tao will never leave you, and you will be like a little child. Know the white, yet keep to the black. Be a pattern for the world. If you are a pattern for the world, the Tao will be strong inside you, and there will be nothing you can't do. Know the personal, yet keep to the impersonal. Accept the world as it is. If you accept the world, the Tao will be luminous inside you, and you will return to your primal self. The world is formed from the void, like utensils from a block of wood. The master knows the utensils, yet keeps to the block. Thus she can use all things. 29. Do you want to improve the world? I don't think it can be done. The world is sacred. It can't be improved. If you tamper with it, you'll ruin it. If you treat it like an object, you'll lose it. There is a time for being ahead, a time for being behind, a time for being in motion, a time for being at rest, a time for being vigorous, a time for being exhausted, a time for being safe, a time for being in danger. The master sees things as they are, without trying to control them. She lets them go their own way and resides at the center of the circle. 30. Whoever relies on the Tao in governing men doesn't try to force issues or defeat enemies by force of arms. For every force, there is a counterforce. Violence, even well-intentioned, always rebounds upon oneself. The master does his job and then stops. He understands that the universe is forever out of control, and that trying to dominate events goes against the current of the Tao. Because he believes in himself, he doesn't try to convince others. Because he is content with himself, he doesn't need others' approval. Because he accepts himself, the whole world accepts him. 31. Weapons are the tools of violence. All decent men detest them. Weapons are the tools of fear. A decent man will avoid them, except in the direst necessity, and if compelled, will use them only with the utmost restraint. Peace is his highest value. If the peace has been shattered, how can he be content? His enemies are not demons, but human beings like himself. He doesn't wish them personal harm, nor does he rejoice in victory. How could he rejoice in victory and delight in the slaughter of men? He enters a battle gravely, with sorrow, and with great compassion, as if he were attending a funeral. 32. The Tao can't be perceived. Smaller than an electron, it contains uncountable galaxies. If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would be in harmony. The world would become a paradise. All people would be at peace, and the law would be written in their hearts. When you have names and forms, know that they are provisional. When you have institutions, know where their functions should end. Knowing when to stop, you can avoid any danger. All things end in the Tao, as rivers flow into the sea. 33. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. If you realize that you have enough, you are truly rich. If you stay in the center and embrace death with your whole heart, you will endure forever. 34. The great Tao flows everywhere. All things are born from it, yet it doesn't create them. It pours itself into its work, yet it makes no claim. It nourishes infinite worlds, yet it doesn't hold on to them. Since it is merged with all things and hidden in their hearts, it can be called humble. Since all things vanish into it, and it alone endures, it can be called great. It isn't aware of its greatness. Thus, it is truly great. 35. She who is centered in the Tao can go where she wishes without danger. She perceives the universal harmony, even amid great pain, because she has found peace in her heart. Music or the smell of good cooking may make people stop and enjoy, but words that point to the Tao seem monotonous and without flavor. When you look for it, there is nothing to see. When you listen for it, there is nothing to hear. When you use it, it is inexhaustible. 36. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show people the results. 37. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. If powerful men and women could center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself in its natural rhythms. People would be content with their simple, everyday lives, in harmony and free of desire. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. 38. The master doesn't try to be powerful. Thus, he is truly powerful. The ordinary man keeps reaching for power. Thus, he never has enough. The master does nothing, yet he leaves nothing undone. The ordinary man is always doing things, yet many more are left to be done. The kind man does something, yet something remains undone. The just man does something and leaves many things to be done. The moral man does something, and when no one responds, he rolls up his sleeves and uses force. When the Tao is lost, there is goodness. When goodness is lost, there is morality. When morality is lost, there is ritual. Ritual is the husk of true faith, the beginning of chaos. Therefore, the master concerns himself with the depths and not the surface, with the fruit and not the flower. He has no will of his own. He dwells in reality and lets all illusions go. 39. In harmony with the Tao, the sky is clear and spacious. The earth is solid and full. All creatures flourish together, content with the way they are, endlessly repeating themselves, endlessly renewed. When man interferes with the Tao, the sky becomes filthy. The earth becomes depleted. The equilibrium crumbles. Creatures become extinct. The master views the parts with compassion because he understands the whole. His constant practice is humility. He doesn't glitter like a jewel, but lets himself be shaped by the Tao, as rugged and common as a stone. 40. Return is the movement of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. All things are born of being.
Hi, this is Quran, and I just want to say that in the Quran, the Injil is not lost. I am the Injil is not in the Quran is in me.
Do not kick him. Yeah, I love the stat. It's not lost. If it's not lost,
Took it out.
no, you didn't.
I put the wrong one in there and then
No, don't get it. And it's lost. Because I don't see that it's lost anywhere. Then it's this Christian Prince post. I don't know if it's like triggering to them. Oh, unlock the door. You want to drive mommy's car? Yeah. She just asked me if you want to drive her car.
yeah, me.
Yes, she did.
Like my
Ooh, Noura Bandura's here. Noura knows a lot about the Quran.
I bought my wife a new car for Christmas.
Just like the Nissan commercial? Oh my gosh! Congratulations! Mazel tov! L'chaim!
I did. I bought it last year. 5 years, no interest.
How's that going?
It's good. No issues.
What do you think's the better vehicle? The body, the human body that you're in right now, or the car that you bought off the dealer's lot?
Depends on the car. Not a Honda Civic.
So, I mean, the fact that you would just so casually say that a vehicle is more important than the human body just goes to show me that you haven't done at least 10 push-ups today, or even one deep breath.
Namaste.
Okay, so Bart, are you there?
Yeah.
So if you had to guess, what were the scriptures they were looking at back then? Were they the Synoptic Gospels or were they Gnostic Gospels?
None. These people, to me, were just completely ignorant to everything, and all the miracles that were done were always done to pagans. So
No, like there's stuff in like there's parables that are from like the Synoptic Gospels. Then there's things that are in the like Gnostic Gospels. Like it's a mix. Like, what were these people looking at? Like, what were when
I
it
know
says,
because I was looking at the tafsirs and all the tafsirs from chapter the 614 and 355, and there's literally a Qurtubi and all these other people. Like I just watched the Sam Shimon video, and they're literally quoting Paul and Peter.
that's that's what I'm saying though. So it's like
It's crazy. Like I was like, oh shit, really? And I didn't even know this. I'm like, I just randomly put it on because it comes up on my feed. I'm like, all right, what is this guy got to say today? Maybe it's an old video or whatever, right? So I put it on, and the guy was like shocked because like he comes in with the normal Taoist
In
script,
love
right?
with my
Like, oh,
kissing,
it's corrupted. Blah, blah, blah. So it's
ruthless,
like,
fearless, imperial, peerless, creep I or climb, naught withstands me, bursts me or brands me, no heaven commands me, no space, no time, above the supernal, below the infernal, of all am I master, on earth the diurnal, in all things eternal, life, love, war, disaster, abiding unshaken, I sleep and I waken on wonderful wings, in depth and in height.
Okay, I'm gonna do a poetry reading,
Super rush.
and then I'm gonna go pick up my car.
What? You blew the engine?
No, the tires. I got the tires replaced because they kept getting flat, man. You have no idea. My fucking last like 2 weeks has been like horrible. I've been filling up this fucking tire like every day, and last night finally I was driving on the rim, dude. It was so horrible. What up, Hal?
hello.
I'm gonna do a.
Oh, health is here.
I'm gonna do a poetry reading. The price of admission is cashing in your pink ticket.
Look at Health's PTR. What a cute dog.
I know. It's an angel.
I know.
I wish I had an angel like that in my life. It's like a teddy bear. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
Looking at that picture.
It's not aggressive.
looking at that dog makes me happy. It's a nice picture.
Kachi, welcome. This is a poetry reading.
Who are you,
room.
Adrian?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Well, once you know where you came from, you know who you are, and all your problems are solved.
Yes.
He's a philosopher.
Do you want to present yourself?
Do I want to what?
Present yourself?
Present?
Yeah.
I mean, my name is
Present
John.
myself.
My legal name is John. Last name is Kitover.
Oh. Are you the one from California?
I'm from Chicago, but I have lived in California.
Okay. Okay, then that's another person.
Hmm. Do you speak Russian?
Why are we following each other?
Do you speak Russian?
No.
What do you speak?
You can guess?
Are you from Asia?
No.
Eastern Europe?
No. Why do you think I'm from Eastern Europe?
Oh, you're Arab.
No.
Then what language do you speak?
She's from Sweden.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sweden. So you speak Swiss?
Swiss is Switzerland.
Oh, you speak Swedish.
Yeah.
Do you think Swedish is the sweetest of all the sweet languages?
It's so like what's it called? Submissive. Very afraid of conflict.
Interesting.
Like they start like the sentence with, "Yeah, I agree with you," in an indirect way.
Isn't that just another form of passive aggressive behavior?
No, it's more like I am afraid and I'm going to just try to please you.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's your
kind of,
opinion.
Yeah, but that's why they have this issue with so many immigrants, taking over the country.
Everybody seems to have problems with people, taking over countries.
Yeah, but like Sweden has their own issue. Like there's been bombing in the capital, just like crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what happens when you have a bunch of alpha male Muslims that want to institute Sharia law and just love fighting. That's what happens.
No, but like they just want to, take and take and take and don't give anything back,
Yeah, well, that's called profiting. Hello.
Yeah. It's called being selfish and an asshole,
Yeah, but you have nobody to blame but yourselves. They're not from your country. You need to ask them to leave politely. If they don't leave politely, then you put them in handcuffs, you board them on buses, and you drive them out of your perimeter. That's called the state.
They're going to do. They're going to use their military and deport them.
Yeah. Bye. Back to wherever city or town you were from to start from. Sorry, this is not your final destination. You're going back to where you started. Sometimes in life, you got to go back to the beginning.
But what would you do in that situation?
What do you mean?
With the immigrant situation, yeah.
I would hire some immigrant to go arrest the immigrant and deport that immigrant. And then I would go arrest the immigrant who deported the immigrant and send that immigrant back to where he came from. And thus, I would kill two birds with one stone. Smart, right? Devious.
So you would have a task force.
Yes, an elite task force of ultra positive soldiers ready to do what must be done.
What's scary is that, these immigrants, they also, go into politics and, they become doctors and then become lawyers and then they become, people that other people listen to. And then they, influence other people with their opinions and, yeah.
Yeah, there's no easy answer to any question. I think the best way to, resolve the conflict in your mind is to say to yourself, there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe, and that, you need not worry about your future. It's a positive neurolinguistic program to help you, enjoy watching your society implode.
Yeah.
Just a helpful tip, as you watch it all collapse and get invaded right before your very eyes. Just say, there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe. Hey, Muhammad Jihad, Allahu Akbar. That's why I've converted to Islam. Oh, I forgot to tell you, but I'm now a Muslim.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I'm trying to get ahead of the curve. So instead of like being in conflict with these people, I can just hypnotize them to give me their money. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, I have you for real.
Yeah, you are in the I have another account running right now called Quran. Have you heard of the Quran?
I have.
Have you read the glorious Quran?
Honestly, I am not religious.
Well, I would just encourage you to start reading it so you can start preaching it and gather as many Muslim followers as possible. And that way you can control the herd using, like catnip or fish bait, like minnows. It's just an FYI. You might want to get ready for the future now.
Actually,
I'm not really sure if you're kidding right now or if you're serious.
I mean, there's a sucker born every minute.
No, Coco, she could do that. She could learn the Quran.
No, but really, are you guys Muslims?
No, we're just trying to trick Muslims to control them for our own, goodwill and our benefit. We want to make money from Islamic publishing. Is that illegal in a capitalist society? No. Like, stop trying to
Seriously, Coco could do that. She could learn the Quran, then she could control an Islamic cult,
Yeah.
and she could turn them against each other.
Good point. That's right. We need to make the Sunnis and the Shias want to liquidate each other as much as possible.
Well, yeah, you can cause an infight.
That's true.
And they would
Butterfly wings.
Here's the thing. They would totally believe Coco, right? Like a Swedish white woman. I'm just assuming, right? But you learn the Quran, you kind of learn it, get a cult going, cause some infighting. Self-liquidate. Yeah, I mean, is that a brilliant strategy,
It
Adrian?
is. So, any other comments, questions, ideas, or opinions before we begin the mass genocide?
Yeah, I was gonna ask again. Do you want to present yourself, Adrian?
Do I want to present myself?
Mm-hmm.
What, you want a dick pic or something?
No, I mean tell me about yourself. How old are you? What are you doing?
Oh, I'm 42. I read poetry in my mom's basement in my underpants. I smoke weed. I have no job. My fingernails are very long. I don't have any toilet paper at the moment, nor do I have any detergent to go wash my clothes. I have cockroaches crawling on the floor, and I haven't eaten in 10 days because I'm an ascetic.
Oh my god.
So I'm like your dream come true. Plus, I'm in debt up to my neck.
To wash your ass when you poop.
Kakdila, Yulia? No, but this is a poetry reading room, and so I'm going to just read for 10 minutes, and then I got to go pick up my car at the mechanic. They just put new tires on my vehicle.
Oh, so you have your car. You actually have a car.
I do. Then I'm going to go get dinner and then go meet this girl at the indoor putt-putt for drinks and golfing.
Oh, so you're good enough for Tinder.
Hinge.
Okay.
Yeah. Tinder is seems to me like it's all just a huge waste of time. Hinge seems to have more professionals on it.
So are you really 42 or are you younger?
Yeah, I'm 42.
So you are a millennial.
Grand Rising.
Okay, so since you are a millennial, I'm going to send a link.
What, do you want me to take a survey for your PhD or something?
Yeah,
I'm not taking a PhD, but I am a TikToker. I'm just kidding.
You're a TikToker. What's that?
I'm not. But I have a funny video that I'm gonna share.
Cool. Well, if you want to listen to my poetry, you have to cash in your pink ticket.
Right, what?
Your pink ticket, and I don't do TikTok because that's a Chinese spyware app. Sorry.
You're definitely 42 years old.
That's right.
And Adam, how old are you?
I am 36. Are you, Coco, are you a vet? What's with all these questions? Are you...
She's just trying to figure out who she's talking to.
Yeah, I just want to know because, wow, on the app, you don't know.
Yeah.
Anything.
Wait, do I have TikTok on this phone? Let me see if I have TikTok on this phone.
You better.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have TikTok. Yeah.
Adrian?
What?
when you're 42?
How is it to date?
Yeah.
It's okay. You know, you meet people that you're not really interested in, and it's amazing how many people, like, how in your mind's eye you see somebody through their pictures, and then when you meet with them, you're like, what is that, cream cheese in your teeth?
But I think the best way to meet someone is meet someone in real life,
Mm-hmm.
not from an app, because it's like you have to kind of put up a facade. You know what I mean? That you can only hold for so long.
100%.
And then I feel like you have to put in so much energy to make it, become a good date,
Mm-hmm.
because you can have a social network, or
Yeah, but you're
Is there-
overthinking it.
no, like I met my previous boyfriend from online, and it's just like something that is missing,
Yeah, but that's because you're probably just not drinking enough.
No, but if you're going to drink and meet someone for the first time, you're not going to meet the right person.
I'll be honest with you. You know what the biggest problem is money. Because if you had enough money, you could just go on a new date every night of the week for the rest of your life, and you would never be bored. But you would also never fall in love, because all you're doing is just living day to day. You're not building something with somebody. So you have to really be able to be clear in what it is that you're trying to achieve by being with someone.
Yeah, but I think it's better, like, if you're going to have a meaningful relation with someone,
Mm-hmm.
you should actually find that through something that you're doing a lot, like working or some place that you spend a lot of time. And then that person should be, first of all, your friend, and not someone that you're just attracted to,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say that, but do the birds and the bees, do the flowers and the trees, like have a plan in June and July? No. They're just doing what they're doing. And so, it just depends on how you want to do you. But if you really do know where you come from, you'll solve all your problems. Like, because all of your dithering and dathering and words and thoughts will never help you get, to the truth, which is stop thinking and end your problems. That's why I say you're overthinking it. Like, people use dating apps to basically scan the horizon, to see who's out there, to see as a reflection of themselves what condition you're in.
Actually, dating apps is it's a shop where you, in your mind, have a person that you're looking for, and then you're looking for that person in that app based on that appearance and their job and quote unquote interests, but it's not a real person.
Mm-hmm.
Just because someone looks a certain way that fits your mind and that they have a certain job doesn't mean that you guys fit together.
Listen, personality, you have to find somebody that, really treats you with respect because they respect themselves. They love you because they love themselves. They're not rude. They're not obnoxious. They're not petty. They're intelligent and loving and kind and full of joy. That's the man you need in your life. That's what every man needs in his life with regards to a woman. But many women are very short. They're on a short fuse, tight temper and a tight schedule, and they have, everyone has their goals and objectives. But the truth is, the secret to project management and achieving objectives is to really have no objectives. You literally live second to second based on priority. For example, I got to pick up my car by 7 o'clock, or really by like 5:30. I'm just saying that, they're useful arbitrary conventions, but again, meeting somebody on a dating app is really just a way to occupy your time. It's something else to do,
I know, but yeah, and I think probably it's more safe for men to, do that.
A
Right?
man can't do that unless he has the money, and the money gives you the time if you know how to use your time. But you cannot actually have a dating life of any significance unless you are willing to entertain and delight. A man has to provide. Otherwise, your adventure and your journey into the city to experience some new dining experience or theatrical experience or event or location, it all requires money, parking, vehicle, fuel. I mean, it's just the tip, the entrees, the appetizers, the drinks, whatever it is you're going to do, it requires money.
What they do in Sweden when they meet online or from online or dating app, they actually usually go to each other pretty quick. Maybe the first date they meet out, and then the second date they invite each other to their home.
Some girls and men make love on the first night that they meet. They don't even wait. Some take 3 dates, some take 2, some takes 30 dates. It's all depends. Like you said, what's the situation? Are you working together in a work site? Are you in some type of religious or political movement? Or are you wasting your time on Clown House talking to random people falling in love? I mean, you have to be in control of what you're listening to, what you're seeing, what you're thinking, what you're saying, what you're doing. Like if you're just doing what your environment is telling you to do, you're not truly free. I mean, you want to be free. And that's how you get into a good relationship, because you can bring that freedom or spaciousness or awareness to your partner who is so mixed up with their identity, with their cell phone, with their family, with their friends, with their 15 guys that are texting them because they want to fuck, So, I mean, you're like a monkey. Have you ever seen a man sniff you?
What do you mean that I am not free?
No, you are. But what I'm just saying is, you have to be free before you can be in a relationship with a man, because and a man has to be free before he can be in a relationship with you. And free is just another word for love, either love of self or denial of self, forbearing or bearing, yin and yang, black and white. It's like, you just have to find a really good flower with good fragrance, with a good attitude, and everything will work out. You'll have enough money for housing, for food, for clothing, for your children. You can go to the library, you can go to the movies, you can just live, like a normal life until the day you die. Then you're like, oh, that was a nice experience. And hopefully there'll be a disaster, because disasters do happen, Look at all the people in your country. Why are they there? Disaster. Their homes are no longer there.
Are you in a relationship?
Am I?
No, Aiden.
I'm recently single. I've been single for 2 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that a long relationship or?
Somewhat. It was a relationship of 4 years.
Yeah. Were you guys?
What about yourself, Coco? Are you in a relationship? Am I married? No.
Oh, you were married or?
No, we were actually engaged.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It seems like in your age, it's like where people can split up.
Yeah,
people split up in their 20s.
I share a similar experience to Adrian, like in terms of like the mid-30s dating. It's a lot of like the thought of the person seems to be better than than what they end up being in person, or they come with a lot of baggage, or they're jaded. And I agree. I think both sides have to be complete as an individual and come together before just getting into something and getting into a relationship and, having it fall apart. So it starts with self-love.
The problem is when you're in a very personal relationship with somebody, you don't want that relationship to be political. You want that relationship to be one-to-one, and that term one-to-one always comes up. So, there's no politics in your union with your partner. Like, you have to depoliticize, because it's not a useful, effective usage of your time. I mean, unless you're both politically like aligned. I mean, and then it's just a business, and it's just work. It's just work. So, if you can do yoga together, if you can read poetry together, if you can spend your time effectively together, as opposed to being depressed together, that's the winner. When you're in that relationship with a woman where you're, together, you create great energy and synthesis and activity and doing. Those are the great relationships. But also the sex too is the grease, or the genie in the bottle.
I think like women, if they have the chance, they should climb the ladder with getting into a relationship with men in power.
Well, power is an illusion, because when you're in private with that person and he's insulting you, and you're like, well, this isn't, a lot of fun being, insulted by this powerful man, because he's not as powerful as you think he is. He may have power, but it doesn't mean he has grace. Doesn't mean he has wisdom or love in his heart. He could be a very angry person. He could have a lot of shame or sadness, even if you have a lot of power. So, that's why I say, if you're free, it's not about power. It's about letting go and not being in a controlling situation, not asking questions, really. Like, I've never asked questions. I don't want to ask questions, because the truth is I don't want to hear answers. But the problem is asking questions. Just let it flow and be natural, be natural. A natural, C natural.
What do you think about getting into relationships in the workplace? Oh, what'd you say?
Are you asking?
Yeah, I was asking, what are your thoughts?
About getting into the relationship with someone at work?
Yeah, like pursuing someone romantic that you work with.
Yeah, that can be dangerous.
The reason I asked is because things kind of like change. Like, you notice that there's there's a large amount of people that craves like the social connection, and a lot of people either work remote, etc. So like, it's kind of changed dynamics in the workplace to a certain extent, where like,
yeah, but I'm like I think if you start with a friendship, then it can be harmless, I think. I think part of being free is to be able to, make friends with whoever you want, regardless if it is a man or a woman.
Okay, so that's the introduction to this room. I'm going to just do a brief 10-minute poetry reading, then I have to leave. If you want to listen to the poetry reading, the price is admission, takes a pink ticket. Got to
I
click.
don't want to listen to your voice.
Well, that's okay. I mean, you know, if you interrupt me, I mean, I'll just kick you to the goo like a communist, like the leaders in your terrible country who let your people get invaded by a mass horde of
I just don't
pedophiles
like how your
and
voice
criminals.
sounds. I'm sorry.
I don't care. You think I'm going to think about you after I leave this app? You're like a fucking
Yeah.
10-second thing. Just 10 seconds. Some Swedish fish is all you are. Candy.
Yeah, don't say that, Adrian. Coco is a lovely person.
Did you see that TikTok?
No, I haven't seen it. I'll check it out right now.
The name of this video is Dating Swedish Women.
That's funny. That TikTok is pretty accurate.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. I just
Like,
I think
I work from home.
yeah,
so,
I
like-
think the character in the video is millennial. It's if you watch the other videos, there's so many with like Gen Z, millennial, Gen X, and boomers, and he is like, you know, portraying millennials to be, you know, these like almost the youngest, but is kind of taken advantage of by the boomers. And it's like, yeah, on the border to Gen Z.
Yeah. It's even the attitude even reflects, like, you can tell.
Yeah. But the funniest is the Gen Z.
Yeah, that's totally accurate. I work remote. Depending if I want to work in the office or just work at home. I do have that millennial type of, you know, start
Yeah.
my day.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you the another one.
Okay, this is called Jeune Marie. Surely the secret whisper of sweet life shakes in the shell ear, murmurs memories of the old wonder of young ecstasies. In the first hours, when the white word of wife, she won so hardly out of dark wild strife. In mystery of peace, thine utter ease, abandoned rapture, caught and cut by seas, of sudden wisdom stinging as a knife, swift struck sets all the blood a tingle. Woe! What wakes within? What holiest intimation of intimate knowledge of the lords of nature? She sees her fate smile out on her, doth know her weird of womanhood, her noble station among the stars and ages, and her stature soars o'er the system. So the scarred misfeature of death avails her for the isolation of high things ever holy, This the throe of swiftly comprehended motherhood once taught her. Now the whisper of the child bids her be great, who was supremely good. For mark you, babes aware of wiser things, and hold more arcane matters in their mild cabochon eyes than men are aware of yet. Therefore have poets, lest they should forget, liken the little sages unto kings. But look, the baby whispers, hush, nay, nay, we should disturb them loving, come away. L'amour qui passe. Love comes to flit, spark of steel, struck on the flint of youth and wit. Aye, little maid, for woe a wheel, love comes to flit. Hermes, one whisper thrills, admit. Cupris one smile aims, do you feel? Eros one arrow, has he hit? Why do you sit there immobile? A spark extinct is not relit. Beyond resource, above appeal, love comes to flit. Tete de femme, Musset de Luxembourg. It shall be said when all is done, the last line written, the last mountain climbed, the last look upon the sun taken, the last star in the fountain shattered, that you and I were one. What shall they say who come apace after us heedless gallant? Seeing our statues, hearing of our race, heroic tales, half doubted, being so far beyond rhyme to trace. What shall they say? For secret we have held our love, and holy splendor of light, and music of the sea, and eyes and heart serene and tender, with kisses mingled utterly. These were our ways, and who shall know what warrior bard our nuptial glory shall sing? Historic shall we go down through a country's golden stories? Shall love's whisper even so? Swift clasp of rodents, magical mind, love witted, see all creation fade, abide one kiss, then to my own soul's bow this shaft be fitted. Thank God for all, seeing that all is this.
Vans is exposing this one chick selling pussy on Backpage. She just sent me a back channel saying that Shia is selling pussy on Backpage for $40. Adrian, how many women sell pussy in Chicago?
I don't know. It was 6 million?
6 million. Oh, man.
Dude, it's amazing. Everything is like bitted up, you know, meaning that like everything is decentralized now, like everything.
Yeah. You mean just in what way? In what way?
I mean, like, basically, oh, he left. I was going to say through apps.
Well, no, I have to go to the thing. I want to read it. Can I read it?
Hi, excuse
I went
me,
to the-
Barthologist. I'd like to read just a brief poem, if I may.
Okay.
It's called Resurrection. From youth and love to sorrow is one stride. So to the thinker, to the lover's self, whether it glides or swoons, the idle elf that plucks a rose, scatters its petals wide, is like the wind, is like the moon-wrought tide, is most like life so soft to man, so hard to the all-gathering brain of a great bard. Barth, Christ answered, peace to man amid the strife. I am the resurrection and the life. Let the graves open, see the woman grip her goodly love, her gainful fellowship. See the man, hungry, grasp the willing bride, grope through the dark dawn to her glowing side. There is the resurrection trump, confess. The mystery of life is happiness. Rodin discerned. We see the eagle-eyed glory of echoing kisses, hear the sound of glutted raptures break in the profound. The abyss of time, upsurge the dead. Why hide thy sorrowful God's brow? O sculptor, mage, child of eternity, father of an age, thou hast seen, thou hast showed, that as it was on earth, so shall it be in resurrection, birth. The cycle of weariness and passionate pain is and was ever and must be gain. There is no death. Ah, that is misery. For this, Lord Christ, is it that thou wouldst be? Thou yesterday, today, and thou tomorrow? The mystery of this our life is sorrow.
The church is empty. Okay, go and preach in the church, you know.
Okay, so you see the scribal error because you gave me the same thing again. You gave me the same thing again. You probably went to a different one. It's bizarre. It doesn't make sense.
I do and I go.
And led him away to crucify him. Sheesh. That's just ugly and nasty.
Jesus H. Christ, you're killing this room, man.
What's up, Adrian? You got anything to say?
I can read you a poem on Jesus Christ if you'd like.
A poem, like, is it anything bad? Because I don't.
No, there's no profanity, nothing negative. Just it's a rhyme. It's a rhyme.
I'm trying to have the spirit move in here, and I don't.
Yeah, this is it. This is what you're looking for. This is why I'm here. I'm here to give you what you want.
Tori, I don't know. Do you should I or? Go ahead, man. No, we'll hear it. God bless you. Go ahead.
Okay. It's called Why Jesus Wept. I'll just read you like one page or a half of.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Okay, it's called Why Jesus Wept. In vain I sit by Candy Lake. The broad veranda slides to mist. No tropic rapture strikes awake. the grim soul's candor to insist, the pen reluctant. Beauty's task is but to praise the peace of earth. If horrors contrast that should ask, off from this paradise of mirth, let Candy Lake, the white soul, mirror the generalized concept. Limb clear, England, a memory clean of error, a royal reason to be here. Therefore, no reminiscence stirs my heart of when I lived in Candy. Europe's the focus now, that blurs the picture of my Buddhist dandy. Alan, who broke his wand of flame, discharged his faithful poltergeist, gave up attempts to say the name. Ananda, Maitreya became, by yellow robes allured, enticed, leaving me all alone to shame the cunning missionary game, and by bad critics topped and sliced, put the kibosh on Jesus Christ. I sing a tale of modern life, suited for reading to my wife, of how Sir Percy Percival grew from a boy into a man, well aware of every metric plan. A bard may dream, a rhymester scrawl, avoiding with deliberate damn, ut supra in memoriam. For such suggestion would suffice to turn your blood to smoke or ice, dismissing with a hearty curse eunuch psychology, pimp verse. Moreover, lest my maitre move from year to year in one dull groove, invention, hear me, strange device, hatch from this egg a cockatrice of novel style, that you who read the sword of song, you poor head, shall stand amazed at the new note, flung faultless from this trembling throat, that Crowley, ever versatile and lord of many a new bad style, should still in's gun have one more cartridge, and who, Ixtachutl's smart ridge achieved, should still be full of metal to go up Popocatepetl, as song then chills or aches or burns the mitre, shall slew round by turns. The gross and bestial demand prose, glance at the page, last stop your nose, and turn to where short lines proclaim that purity has won the game. But stow your prudery, wives and mothers. You know as much muck as those others. Your modest homes are dull. You need me. Don't let your husbands know, but read me.
Intense. There's a whole lot of symbolism that I really didn't understand, but it seems like you put a lot of work into that, man. I applaud you.
Yeah, I didn't write that. I mean, I'm just reading it from an author called Aleister Crowley.
Oh, so what do you get out of it, though? Tell me what you get out of it.
I think it's like brain gymnastics, you know, because it's a highly technical piece, and even to read it in that like quick English, you know, Winston Churchill voice, it's like I'm keeping my brain rot out.
Yeah, let's hope you avoid that.
Somebody called Aleister Crowley or something like that?
Yeah, he's an English occultist and poet, and he was a member of this like extremely Christian religious sect called the Plymouth Brethren, and they would, you know, like just preach city to city to city, just hardcore preachers, you know, like real Christian extremists.
No, because like when I heard that name, it kind of sounded like maybe like somebody who was into like demonology or something like that. But I just don't know if he is part of that.
For sure, I think the Freemasons are all into it.
No, but he's into like he's into Illuminati's and stuff or something like that.
Yeah, you could say that. Like I think it's Freemasonry is like the super cult of the planet. You know, the most historically important cult, you know, just in the same way that the Catholics are.
Okay, yeah, I just never heard anything about that before. But I mean, I guess we can go back on that, but like I was just gonna continue, like, you know, the reading the Bible.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, I'm, you know, I gotta go get my car. I got 4 new tires put on it, so I gotta walk, you know, a little bit of ways to go pick up my vehicle. So I'll just stick around for a few more minutes. Nice. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Great Friday night.
Okay, yeah, you too, Adrian. Thank you so much. So, I guess they were like they spit on him and the reed, and they smote him on the head, and after that they mocked him and took off the robe off from him. Then they put his own raiment and led him away to be crucified. I think that's very, very disgusting that this happened to him, you know. And I think that, you know, in terms of all of us, we have done that. So I can't literally sit here and be like, oh, what they did to him was like horrible. I would have never done. When I have done that and worse, you know, I have betrayed Jesus for way less, even for things that I didn't want to do. I had betrayed Jesus for. So I would be a hypocrite. So I'm gonna move on to 32, right? And it says, and as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. They compelled him to bear his cross. And when they come onto a place called Golgotha, that is the place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall, and when he had a taste thereof, he would not drink. What the heck is that they're putting in his mouth? With something about gall?
Yeah, I think gall is actually poison. Like you would draw poison out from a viper or like a poisonous venomous animal, reptile. That's what that is. It's the I think that's what gall is. Go ahead.
Yeah, and well, to be honest, you know, I had heard. I heard that somebody gave like when Jesus was on the cross or whatever, they gave him like a sponge thing, right? And they put it in his mouth. They said that the sponge was the exact things that they used to clean the rich people's behind that they put in Jesus' mouth. I'm like, what? Like, there's a lot of things that happened at the death of Christ that we still don't know of. But like, I don't know if it's 100% true, but I hear people say like there were like long sponges that people would use to clean rich people's behinds back then, and they used one of these sponges and they put it in Jesus's mouth. So I'm like, and they would put vinegar in it and stuff to clean rich people's behind. But I don't know if you guys, I don't know if I'm wrong. I mean, obviously it's not from me, but it's something I heard. Hello.
The Book of Lies by Aleister Crowley, Chapter 0 through 50. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. AA publication in classes C and D. Official for Babes of the Abyss. Imprimatur in Frater A.A. Liber 333. The Book of Lies, which is also falsely called breaks, the wanderings or falsifications of the one thought of Frater Perdurabo, which thought is itself untrue. Break, break, break at the foot of thy stones, O sea. I would that I could utter the thoughts that arise in me. Question